Hmm. I don't know what to do. I can't hear you.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Adventures into Reality, as we're waiting to find out if our audio issues are taken care of. Senor Robert, it believes we are having a bit of technical difficulties in the land of the Oracle of Audio.
I thought so.
Oh, really? You did think so, huh? Yes,
It's
Ghost Voice.
audio looks like it's working. And everyone, if you can, mute your microphones.
Yes. There we go. Mute, mute, mute everyone, unless you want us to all hear about your private stories when you're on unmute, like we did last week. For those that remember the last show where somebody randomly had a unique statement about their hind end. So I want to take a moment to talk to everyone. We are once again back in the Galactic Historian Power Studios. Crap. There we go. And I want to thank everyone. And we look at this fabulous macro background that we've got going on there. The universe and our planet lit up like lights. Lights, lights, lights. The light inside you, the light inside the world. We are no longer calling ourselves light workers. It isn't work. It isn't your slave job to get done. It is your passion, your life. Your life is not but work. It's something that makes an impact onto yourself and those that you love. And there are times where other people want to make a deep impact on your life in a not so positive way. And that's where we've got to stand in our own potent power and say, no more. No more with such force that the courage inside of us roars like a lion and steps forth into our power, into our place, and begins to shed off the projections of others. Why are the projections of others affecting so many of our callers? I've done about 600 hours of these call-in shows, 600 hours. And there are some very common themes about people not standing in their power. So before I spin the wheel of callers, I want everybody to grab a little piece of paper or type something in a document. What are the 5 types of common callers do we get? Okay, or 3 types of common callers. I know what they are. How many times do you hear me say I don't want to tell anybody their fucking purpose anymore? If you don't know your purpose is to be alive and in this world, guess what? Learn to ask the question better. Man, it's a little aggressive, but we're here to elevate everyone's game. So what are the top 3 common callers we all hear? And we're going to create a mental vision right now that the uncommon callers get through the wheel of callers. So the first person that asks me about what's their purpose, what am I going to tell them? We're going to tell them your purpose was to ask that question and you're done. No more purpose in your life. All right, Robert, spin that wheel of callers and let's see if our collective consciousness awareness can get us to some special people in the special places in their life so we can all learn.
All righty. One of these days, I'm going to have a sound effect for that. I'm going to, let's do Rachel Harding. You're on with Andrew.
Rachel, are you there?
I am indeed.
Woo, indeed. Where are you calling from today?
Well, I am in Sedona, Arizona, but I am originally from England.
Oh, Sedona, Arizona. Welcome to the show. How did you find out about me?
Actually, in 2016, when I came to Sedona, I met someone who mentioned you, and I checked you out and was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So,
been following you since then.
So what about the material blew you away? Is there any common themes?
Your expansive understanding of the multi-layered nature of reality, which I've been working with as well. And you just like so confidently articulated everything, and it was like remembering as well. So,
Well, the great remembering has begun because it is no longer an awakening. It is the great remembering. All right, so let's get started. What kind of questions do you want to ask me?
gosh. Wow.
The Akashic record of this world and a million other worlds is open to you. No pressure.
Well, I think the number one thing in my way is health. So I'm doing a parasite cleanse right now, as I have a couple of parasites. So my energy's been low. So that's kept me from, doing as much as I want to. And that's mainly it. So in terms of energy, financial energy and physical energy, I seem to have some distortions in there that haven't cleared. So any guidance on that would be great.
Are you having any feet issues that are ongoing?
Feet?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Well, the meridians and the tips of your toes have a lot of very clogged energy, meaning there's something going on with your feet, the way you walk, the mechanical way your legs move that connect to your tailbone.
Definitely. My ankles pronate, and I have broken my tailbone a few times, or I was abused as a child and I was kicked and my
Okay.
tailbone was broken.
So the feet, the ankle issue, did you like twist them at a younger age, or is that just something they swell?
No, it's not swollen. I just, as I walk, I'm pronating. I think I was hyper flexible, but then I didn't develop, strength, and so therefore they roll too much.
I get it. I get it. You actually have torn tendons all throughout the tops of your ankles and the tops of your feet. So those were at a very young age. It's not uncommon for children that are fleeing aggressive actions. They twist their ankles and tear the muscles and keep going in adrenaline glands. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to recommend for you is you see somebody that's specific, a myofascial release cyst that can go from the tips of your toes to the base of your tailbone. And you're going to be leading about 6 to 8 hour and a half sessions in which he's going to be able to help resculpt the way your fascia spreads out between your feet to the back of your calf to the back of your knee, to the front, into the quads. So you have bundling of fascia very low on the ankle and very high on the calf, instead of it equally spread out, and as well as in your thighs and in your glutes and and into your lower lumbar muscles. All that fascia needs to be spread out. Have you ever used like a fascia blaster or anything like that?
I have some of that stuff because that's like on my list of things is I have fibromyalgia, so I've been working with fascia stuff, but I never really thought about it being origin of my feet, so that's very interesting.
Yes, when you were running or evading or in hypertension mode when aggression was coming to you, it's just common for children to tear the muscles in their feet because they're growing so fast. The feet are and your kids, the feet are like one of their fastest growing things. Yeah. So fibromyalgia, has it been diagnosed, or is that one of those things that you've discovered on your own?
Supposedly diagnosed in 2006, but when I then I became aware of it and I looked at all the supposed symptoms and I thought, well, I've probably had it all the time. So, but now I'm wondering whether or not it's parasitical, because it would seem some of these parasites have the same thing.
I think the parasites are just covering up something else that's going on there that still can be fibromyalgia.
Right. No, that's disappointing. I was hoping that the getting rid of the parasites would get to the root. And I'm very, very anemic. So
you're anemic because of the parasites.
Yes.
And also you're anemic because of choice. And I have to be brutal honest here. You don't know how to eat. And I need you to admit that.
How do you mean? No, I don't eat enough.
You don't know how to eat like a regular being if you're at a high level of anemia.
Right.
Every single homeopathic to allopathic doctor will tell the same thing to any highly anemic person. You don't know how to eat. It's just a matter if they're going to be blunt enough and say you need to learn to re-eat. Mm-hmm. You need to go to a nutrition coach. Mm-hmm. One that will hold you accountable to what you eat and not because you have a food disorder, because you have anemia and you have cravings that go in reverse and you don't want to eat, or you don't eat anything that your body's telling you in your own unknowingness. Harry, what type of foods do you eat?
I'm super particular and healthy, so very organic and all of that. So I've been on the food thing for a long time, you know, and I went through being vegetarian and vegan, but now I eat meat because I have to, and I feel better for it.
Have you ever had to go and get nutrient drips when you're anemic?
I did go and do B12 and Myers and various other things like that. It seemed like it was the parasites that are taking the iron. So iron deficiency.
No, it's you. It's you and your body dissolving its own body internals. You can go and research all this for yourself. When you reach a high level of anemia, you start eating your own organs. And that's where your iron deficiency comes from. Okay. You can only blame so much on the parasites. The parasites are what controlling your appetite right now. That's all they're really doing, and taking half your calories. But right now you can't absorb the majority of the calories that you eat because you don't have a probiotic gut system that can dissolve them, because you're still in a serious body stress. To ask the question again, have you ever gone to, like, a doctor told your anemia is so bad they need to get you on a nutrient drip?
No, they haven't actually.
Okay. For anyone that's out there, if you're ever anemic and a doctor tells you, no, it's not that bad, you're going to have organ failure if you don't. You're at that stage where probably if you don't really get a nutritional coach, you will be in a beginning of some type of organ failure. That will be a nasty disease worse than the fibromyalgia. And as I'm scanning you more, I think the parasites are something you actually got from being anemic. They just went crazy in your stomach. Okay? Because parasites naturally exist. And once you can get a balanced internal gut health system, your whole life force is going to change, and I think fibromyalgia will go away. But it will reveal chronic fatigue syndrome. And chronic fatigue syndrome, you challenge differently. Like what?
The biome that looks at the DNA of your gut microbial. So I've got some good guys in there, but yeah, I have a lot of bad guys. Some really weird ones as well.
And that's because of the anemia.
Right.
So do you do colonics or home cleansing?
Enemas, yeah.
What type?
Coffee enema. I've done. No.
Coffee enemas are bullshit.
Yep.
So anyone out there that thinks a coffee enema every couple of days is getting you together, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. They're bullshit. Unless you're actually absorbing a lot more of the coffee enema and it's green coffee. I want you to actually go and do a series of colonics and have a colon hydrotherapist help you understand what's coming down the tube.
I've done a lot of that. I mean, I had my first, I'm 50 and I had my first colonics when I was 30. So I've done a lot of that. And actually now I'm getting told, do not do colonics because that is disturbing the balance and it's too depleting for me. So that's, I'll look into it. I'll listen to you.
I'm sorry, but you're at a level of anemia right now that your body doesn't have the right amount of water. So a colonic every other week just to see what's coming down the tube, or a colonic every 3 weeks to see what's coming down the tube, will tell you exactly what's in there if your gallbladder is flushing or if you have a candida issue going. Okay? It's there for observational purposes. So you have a different level of internal gut health. Okay?
I mean, I've got the results of the microbes from my gut. So I know so Blasto and Salmonella were the big bad guys there. But there were some other ones, and they all kind of create fatigue and pain and stuff like that.
Have you ever heard of live and dry blood analysis specialists?
Live blood, yes.
Well, it would be a good idea to get a live and dry blood analysis person to help you understand and relate to those parasites that are in your intestinal tract, because the vast majority of the parasites in your intestinal tract figure out how to get into your blood. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So
And
have
I'm
you
a
ever?
bit concerned because a couple of them, if they got into your blood, are fatal.
That's right. This is where you should go and find, and you're in Sedona, so you should be able to find a mild hyperbaric operation chamber, and get a membership there and see if you can get 4 to 6 1-hour sessions with a hyperbaric chamber. It greatly, greatly will help reduce the parasites in your physical blood.
And what about hydrogen peroxide IV?
Hydrogen peroxide, I would rather you do ozone through the blood. You just have to be very careful because with anemia, anything you're adding and anything you're doing can really upset you. Upset. That's why you want to get that hyperbaric chamber in so that the blood starts filling with oxygen and can start getting those extra toxins out of you. And then understand your hemoglobin is very, very stressed right now. So adding something like regular chlorophyll in the first thing before you have anything to drink in the morning, put as much as chlorophyll as you could normally muster and take and start getting as much liquid chlorophyll every morning. So what brings you to Sedona? Are you there on a spiritual journey?
No, I was in Bali, Indonesia. I left London, went to Bali, and I went for only 6 weeks, but I stayed for 6 years. And I had a reading there, and they predicted that I would come to Sedona. So when I ended up in the States, which was kind of bizarre story, I eventually made my way here, and I love it. It's beautiful. I love the high desert. It's dry, so it's helped with the fibromyalgia, the pain, body-wise. And yeah, it's a nice, quiet place, and I'm writing a lot, so it's a good place to be here for that.
What kind of material are you writing?
I am connecting to the 13 moon calendar and writing about the messages that's coming through for that, really, about how we are shifting in timelines, collapsing timelines, stuff like that. Similar to you, looking at this bigger story.
Okay. Is there any questions that you want to ask about your writing or the bigger picture?
I think I haven't published. I've written and I've got a lot in there, and it's not coming out, and I can see physical energy sort of interfering with that. And so also because of the physical stuff, I retreat from being out in the world more. And then I wonder whether or not that's the message is that I am meant to be in retreat and writing and not be doing sessions with people as much. But then I miss that when I don't. So I'm looking for, how the balance is, how much of my service is limited by my physical stuff at the moment, or it's telling me what I should be doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What kind of sessions do you do?
I do very, well, first of all, I do readings. I'm an astrologer, so I look at many different systems to create the architecture of the soul. And then with that, I use that as a sort of key to get into getting information and messages for my clients. And I put them on a path of self-mastery from that, connecting them to different people themselves. And then in one-on-one sessions, I do a transformational breath work, which is quite shamanic, and it's all about really getting them connected with their energy body, in their body, letting them know what's going on energetically in their body, and giving them an experience of actually meeting themselves in their body energetically.
How many sessions a month would you average?
Very low right now. Because I've been and I'm not really putting myself out there to get work because I haven't got the energy, basically just to keep going day to day for myself, as opposed to having too many clients. So I'm only doing...
In the past, what was the most amount you would say in your peak?
I never do too many.
10 a month, 20 a month, 5?
There might have been a time when there was 10, and then there was a time earlier, but I don't do groups anymore, but I used to do larger. But then I wasn't doing the work as deep as I do it now. Now I could never imagine doing a huge group of people with all of that stuff coming up. So I just do one-on-one.
All right. So in your basically where you're at is you're having a lot of issues with the sicknesses that are taking away your drive and passion, and you're not finding yourself able to write the same way you were before?
Yeah, it's not flowing as much because, yeah, too much attention on my own physical well-being. But my writing is amazing when I do. I only dive in there occasionally. But I am kind of questioning. I had expected that I was meant to get this book out this year, and now it seems like it should be next year. And so, yeah, I'm kind of questioning exactly what my role is because I just keep coming back to deal with this stuff.
Your role is to beat the anemia. I'm dead serious. It is a karmic backlash to you right now.
Right.
And it came from a lifetime in which you're using your own purposeful starvation of yourself to make a political message that was never heard.
Mm-hmm.
And these are many dozens of past lives that are affecting you now.
Right.
Have you had somebody ever do past life regression on you?
I didn't do it so much as past life as a soul regression. So I had more of my galactic experiences rather than my earthly. And one of my earthly ones that I got was actually awful. I was kind of paralyzed in a wheelchair as some Victorian Georgian time in England.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, that might be connected to the fibromyalgia, feeling kind of imprisoned in my body.
It's all starvation. Everything from the fibromyalgia, all of the chronic fatigue, everything that you're anemia, it's all from dozens and dozens of starvation lifetimes in which you're making a political statement that was never heard. So when you find somebody that does a past life regression for you, you need to chart the questions to them around people that were martyring themselves through the starvation process, or vice versa, you were the king starving people, or the warlord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and those are the types of lifetimes you want to have them go and clear, heal, and help you understand how they related to the galactic and universal levels of informations that are coming through you. Because food and nourishment is a vital part of our history and future.
Yeah.
Okay? I deal with a lot of clients that have an anemia, and every single one of them I will tell them, it's still you learning how to eat again. At some point, whatever it is, an internal or an external process, programs are created that totally juxtapose your eating system.
There's definitely eating stuff. I mean, I think the eating was a punishment when I was a child, part of an abusive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't eat as a child. I would hide food because I was paranoid about
There we go. Yeah.
And then I was anorexic at probably about 18, hospitalized. So yeah, that is making sense. And then another aspect I could imagine of like some sort of protest at being incarnate, because it's quite tricky being here. So I imagine that I can relate to that.
Protest incarnate means you're not having any beer or pizza.
So, yeah. Wow, interesting.
Okay. Have you been having a lot of issues with relationships too?
Well, yeah, I did have quite until I was about probably, I've been on the awakening path for a long time. I've been on a spiritual path for a long time. I started studying astrology when I was 19 and detoxing and stuff like that. But roughly 35, up till 35, relationships were kind of fine. And then they were strangely weird and obviously karmic, strange, intense. And my entry into the US was around a relationship that was awful and he tried to kill me. So, yeah.
I laugh only because anemia and relationships, they are like cousins. And they have such common themes. The same people that are in your relationships issues are going to be ones that are connected to the past lives where you were starving yourself to death to make a political statement that was never heard. Oftentimes they're the person who never chose to herd. Okay? And then you come back in another lifetime where anemia is present and you're back to that person. It's reincarnating to re-experience that same person's not hearing of you, like being abused by your parents, so on and so forth. Have you ever had hypnotherapy done?
No, not specifically, no. Other than the soul regression type stuff.
So if you find somebody that is a really good past life regressionist that's actually a licensed hypnotherapist, you can help them create the script with your own writing that will help connect their various different levels of awareness to what needs to be healed in your body now. Here's an example. The opening 4 minutes or 6 minutes of the script is what it takes to put you down, and you're going to put your genius behind the person's hypnotherapy words, what it takes for you to actually go down and get into that state of acknowledging that the internal programs of abuse at a young age created food issues that stacked up to this issue, that created these relationships issues, and they're going to be putting in pre and post hypnotic suggestions for you to go through the healing, the awakening, for this information to not crush you, to easily release it. So when you put your writing genius behind a script that's like 10 to 16 pages, a lot of it can be repetition, so that you can go into this journey of finding those past lives where you starved yourself to death and no one was listening to you for a political purpose, and let them out, so that when you start eating now in a different way, you can create an actual different relationship with your food. You've already gone down the health food markets. You already realize that it's not healing your anemia. The answer's inside you now. Yeah. And challenge yourself to find a hypnotherapist and help write the script. Okay? Use your astrological genius so you even get hypnotized and regressed on the best day of the year for you.
Yeah.
Okay? Put all your genius behind it.
Yeah. It's definitely the year I'm in a year of releasing the darkness of a period between 14 and 27, which was quite a challenging time. And
Yes.
there are lots of blood type stories in my life. Like I lost my son through a massive placental abruption, hemorrhaging. So there's lots of weakness in my blood stories, which have plagued me. So yeah, interesting. So I haven't really absorbed my nutrients, even though I eat like better than most people would.
Right, but your gut can't digest it.
Right.
Okay? That's why I say nutritional coach will be the biggest bang for your healing dollar, and the hyperbaric chambers on a cyclical places to keep your blood alive and actually doing more work while you're going through your journeys and healings. Okay, do you ever have an issue with alcohol?
And I don't drink it.
In the past?
As I've never been able to drink very much. I would just fall asleep after like half a glass of wine or something like that.
Okay. What I would like for you to do is to go into your local stores and find a kit of how to brew your own beer. Yeah. They're about $60, $50, and you can cook on your own countertop. Yes, you're not going to drink this.
Oh, right, good.
Don't worry. This is an alchemical tool for you. Okay. Right now, you need spirits. Oftentimes, alcohol is called spirits. Yeah. Distilled plant energy, in which can create an emanation field around you. So the beer is alive with the yeast, the hops, the stuff that has gone in it, and it creates an ancestral value because you have been a beer brewer tens, let's say 1,500 lifetimes in the last 5,000 years. You enjoy it, and there's something that greatly balances the negative ancestral energies around you. So for that $50 and about 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours of cooking it and then bottling it, maybe a total of $75 with the bottles and everything included, you will have something that you can move around your house that is a living energetic entity that is helping you balance your karma. You may even want to brew one that's specifically for the joy of writing. And instead of drinking it, you can actually add it to your bath. You can bathe your feet in it. You can put it in a foot bath. That alcohol, slight amounts of it will come into your body through the feet, but it is not going to make you fall asleep stupid drunk, because most alcohols that you grow on your stove are only like 4.5 or 6% alcohol. Okay? I want you to see this as medicinal, energetic brewing. alchemy.
Alchemy, yeah.
Okay. And then once you get good at that, like you've brewed 3 or 4 and you've realized that you can spread them all around your house and the types of energies that they create, shielding ones, health protection ones, all different kinds, I want you to step up and brew a hard alcohol. Okay. And this hard alcohol, you're going to get as strong as you can create it, like an actual whiskey or a moonshine, and you're going to put it inside a spray bottle, and you're going to spray it over yourself when you feel yourself is heavily drained, heavily attacked, whatever the word is, so that you can mist it over yourself like a perfume spray. And bring that creation energy of your life force, your hours of prayer behind it, the life force of the mash that's created, so that you can start adding life force to your physical aura and your energetic aura. Okay? Right. You can do this with normal alcohol, but I'd prefer for you to brew your own and put 2 or 3 hours of prayer into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Align it to the astrology chart so it's the right brewing times. I know if you get the right astrology books, it'll even tell you when to brew your own beer, because beer brewing is just as common as the Farmer's Almanac.
Yes.
Okay? So alchemy is one of the key ways of getting you to move forward with your own personal energy systems. And the next thing is, are you allowing anyone to do any kind of physical body work on you?
I know. I mean, yes, actually, there is. So alpha biotics, which is quite interesting. It's been good, but maybe I've finished with that for now.
So
but yeah, I haven't found anyone.
Do they do deep tissue?
I have got someone who does do deep tissue.
All right, so I told you about the myofascial release before. Finding the myofascial release is far more important than the deep tissue.
Yeah.
But there are some home massagers that you can buy that fit over your chair. They're about $100, $125. Just go get it, and make sure you put that on your inspiration chair when you're working. So there are some particular posture patterns that are very disturbing to your creativity flow. Like if you look at my video now, see how my shoulder goes down left? I noticed my posture moving all the time. And it's when I hurt my neck when I was young, this shoulder drops. Yeah. Your shoulders drop and your collarbones come forward, and then your sternum sinks. And whenever your sternum sinks, is regressing, it's really restraining your creative flow on your governor and your conception vessel. Posture, 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 posture. Yeah. Okay? You will have a big change in your life. Okay? Okay? Nutrition coaching. Okay? Learn to eat differently. Make a whole new relationship. Get that alcohol going and get into those hyperbaric chambers. A whole new you is going to turn around.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a great time. It's great talking to you.
Good to see you. You're looking great.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. All right, Robert. Spin the wheel of callers once again.
Okay, we have a duo, Jackie and Santo. You are now on with Andrew.
Jackie and Santo, we have not talked to you in a little while. How's it going today?
It's going very well. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, your wonderful voice today.
Everything's going very well. And I've got a mouthful of food because it's breakfast time over here. Sorry.
What are you eating?
I've got beautiful homemade waffles.
Oh.
Banana, tahini, all the good stuff.
Oh, tahini and waffles. We're going to make our audience hungry.
Andrew, it has been a long time since we've spoken, and it's just nice to make contact again. So I got a question.
Sure, shoot.
About light and understanding whether the subtle differences between what's called natural light, say from the sun, and synthetic light that we're being subjected to more and more, and whether it's in the form of blue light or whatever, because there's so much information about it. But not just the issue about natural versus synthetic light, but there's also a lot of information about the pineal gland and its function. and its relationship to light. And given that the pineal gland has been used for a long time as a kind of gateway for spiritual enlightenment, it raises questions about the nature of the pineal gland in relation to the crystalline structure and the concepts of calcification that get talked about, and whether that does or doesn't play a role in terms of our awakening, or whether there is something that you could say is unnatural in the technology. You know, some people would say, oh, it's just an implant. Others say, no, it's an integral part of connecting to other aspects of ourselves. So that, in a broad sense, that's what I'm asking.
So let me talk about regular light versus synthetic light. So there's certain types of synthetic light that are weaponized, such as these fluorescent bulbs from the 70s and 80s, the long T5 tubes. Those were a weaponized bulb, meant to disrupt not the way you perceive light, but your central nervous system through the flicker rate. So once you understand what makes fake light, false light, negative, painful light, is the light, the way in which it flickers, or the type of gas that it's flickering through, that creates a pulsation effect that does affect our eyes and our third eye. So our third eye has the same types of rods and cones that are inside your regular eyes. Now, I have said before in many radio shows that the majority of the stuff where they talk about the calcification of the pineal gland is absolute bullshit, just reiterated by people that have no proof of anything that pineal gland is calcified or any of that other stuff. It's just something that's regurgitated every year that people are worried about and going by these bullshit products that don't actually do anything. You'd be more better off learning meditation and visualization than taking any of those pineal decalcification products. Seriously. It's all should be done energetically. Now, just as we wear glasses, okay, to adjust our rods and cones and our abilities, there are certain, let's just say, flicker rates of light that can adjust our pineal gland to be matching our regular two eyes, so that there's a channel going from the central nervous system of the eyes directly to the pineal gland that's connected to the left brain and the right brain, that is separate of the medulla and adrenal gland, so that you can process third eye information. Far too many people are in adrenal gland overload or adrenal medulla oblongata override. Therefore, their pineal gland simply just doesn't have the capacity to function in the left brain and the right brain. Much like you have a CPU and a board, the board is the brain and the CPU is the third eye. They are not connected to the rest of the central nervous system's capacity to use the data flow. It is when the two eyes experience the right form of flicker rate, because you look at the flicker rate of the sun, the natural frequencies that follow the Fibonacci sequence, normal, unnatural light from, let's say, ancient fluorescent bulbs will create a distortion in the way the third eye can create and do things. Vice versa, if you were to go into a high light grow room growing indoor tomatoes, cannabis, these guys have figured out how to make lights with the right flicker rate. The vast majority of street lights, like in the image behind me, all these lights you see all through, those are all flicker rates designed to disturb you. Okay? The same type of flicker rate is in a waveform length inside your electrical circuits worldwide. It's also creating disturbance because the third eye has an electromagnetic signature frequency that matches the pulsation of light, because we're in a Schumann resonance and a light resonance at the same time. So the bigger way to connect your question is properly balancing the magnetics that are around yourself with pulse electromagnetic therapy, hematite magnets regularly around you, spun with copper woven something to amplify it, and then getting the proper flicker rates in your own home.
So if you synchronize these flicker rates and get the resonance right, as you say, is there above and beyond that, is it, because it seems to be a powerful, what could you say, it's almost like a tool. So that tool, has it been hijacked to an extent that we focus too much on it, that maybe, you know, heart center is a purer way to connect within ourselves?
Absolutely. Before the brain existed, it was a heart. And then a little slice of brain grew, and then the spinal column grew, and there's a little tiny slice of brain still on your heart. So yes, heart space awareness, or learning how to be cerebral heart space aware, where the mind and the heart are no longer separate in their mechanical and chemical functions.
Right. So, in other words, if we focus on our heart center and be heart-based, then is there a possibility that the knowledge of how this tool works could be used against us in terms of redirecting our frequencies, just like the light flickers at a certain rate and it disturbs our energy? Given the amount of EMF and, there's talk about this negative impacts of 5G, all these frequencies, is it like a piezoelectric little device there that can almost download, upload information, with the piezoelectric effect of the pineal gland? Is it actually more powerful than we even recognize for purposes of energy redirection if we're not aware of the power of what it actually is capable of doing? And therefore, do you atrophy it, or do you try to understand it?
Wherever you want to use the third eye and energy and light, replace it with the term consciousness. It is a consciousness transceiver, sender, projector, data storage. It is the flow of consciousness on the superhighway of its own personal information. And it's just the broadcast center. It's the focal point in which the DNA skin suit of awareness creates memories where the brain is directly connected to it, because our memories create a chemical pattern that go throughout our brain and store it in different encodements of light. And the flicker rate of the natural flicker rate of our planet and the lights that are around you determine how well something's stored in memories of light. And that's the key of weaponization of the negative things in the third eye, 5G. You're just not going to start recording your memories correctly. They'll be damply faded memories. That's the real long-term effect. They steal your capacity to make memories. And you can, yes, counter that. Now, as for the piezoelectric effect there, listen, consciousness is energy. Okay, consciousness plus energy equals reality manifestation. And when we are divine manifesting beings of light, how do we begin to measure our manifestations of light? And this is ultimately the guerrilla warfare technologies that can be created by entrepreneurs out there now that can show people their photonic light creating from meditations, how they can see and track and value their own light. Because learning to work with your third eye out like yoga or martial arts will be far more effective than any form of technology, 5G and negator, because there in your consciousness, you create your reality.
Right. So understanding its function and the function of what you would call natural light, the photons, whether it's from the sun or how we relate to those photons and literally illuminate ourselves from within, is a process that we've all got to individually figure out for ourselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And instead of calling it the awakening, we're calling it the great remembering.
Right. No, that helps. Yeah. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. That was a fun question.
You're welcome, Andrew, and it's nice to see you back on the airwaves.
Yeah, I took some time off so I could just not do so many shows for a while, and now here I am, back again.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
Hovering over my planet.
Very nice. Great to hear you, and thanks for taking the time and taking the
You're
call.
welcome. All right, take it easy.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
All right, Robert, to the next caller.
All right, next caller, Edge Crusher.
Edge Crusher, are you there?
Yes, hello.
How you doing? Where are you calling from today?
Maryville, Pennsylvania.
Maryville, Pennsylvania. So how did you find out about me?
Well, actually, I heard about you years ago. I actually did a call-in on East versus West with you and Kathy Ma a couple years ago. And I am now currently much less confused. My whole life has changed a lot, actually. I don't know. what I can say on air right now, but it's been an adventure and a half. I fell and broke my back, and I started writing a sci-fi novel, and now I'm things have really changed.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about? What kind of things you want to get some resolution with?
Well, can you what's going on the 21st of June? There's a lot of things going on right now. We all know. I'm sure. I know that you're talking about the solstice. It was mentioned in the show notes. Personally, I'm going to go do an interesting ceremony that's going to get rid of a negative entity, and I don't. Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I've been given a lot of advice and knowledge to get along with it, but it's getting. I don't know.
So this coming solstice is going to have, if you're an online YouTube PhDer, I would advise you from the 17th to the 23rd to turn off your computer, turn off YouTube, because there's going to be, once again, another massive release of these psychic parasites that are stored all over, and it's going to be spreading a YouTube spiritual disease. Okay? Unfortunately, they have figured out how people learn, how they listen to music, and how you can be subtly overwhelmed by frequencies that allow parasitic energetic entities, very low consciousness ones, that are going to get into your field. Now, this coming solstice, it is going to be a challenge. Every year since 2012, it is wrapped up worse and worse and worse. Everyone's shit's coming to the surface. This is the time that arguments become debates, debates become vengeance, vengeance becomes vendettas, and the next thing you know, in an hour, what was your best friend is your worst enemy. And unfortunately, it's because the separation of entities has increased so much. It comes down to those who are producing their own light and those who are stealing light. Those who are self-sufficient with their light and those who are not self-sufficient with their light. Those who are self-sufficient in their life and those who are not self-sufficient in their life. Break those categories down and understand that this solstice is going to separate those. And if people start leaving you or your family or subject matters, it's because they're no longer a signature frequency match for the light beings, those that are creating their light. Okay? You are having an entity who's taking your light. When did this thing really come in?
So I had a really crazy transformative psychedelic trip back in May 2017, and then I accidentally burnt receipts in a kind of not a sacred ceremonial fire. And then I got a hole in me, and this guy he was already looking at me for all these years, scared the shit out of me as a kid. Anyway, now, I opened up a hole, and he got a hold of me, so I got to get rid of him.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of his presence until not that long ago, but I've acquired some good protectional entities too along the way.
Have you used any of the contract revocations like the consciousness strike?
Yes, I definitely have. I do the heart meditation every 3 days because it's helped me a lot. I cannot express my gratitude enough to you for that.
Yeah. You can also add more to that heart meditation specifically to reject this entity. Do you know its name?
Yes. Well, okay, look, I call him Pedro right now.
Okay.
We've been calling him Pedro because I don't really know his name exactly. A friend of mine thought it was Quetzalcoatl, but it's definitely not. But it is a really nasty asshole.
Well, I want you to create some type of humiliating name.
Okay.
And understand that just like in Harry Potter, where he had to face his own demon and the ridiculous to convert it over.
That was so awesome.
You need to do the same thing. I want you to give him a wedgie, stick a flower up its ass. I don't know, stick it in the corner with the dunce hat.
Thank you.
Ask any women out there to give you deep, hard stories about what PMS is and transfer that story right to it.
Okay.
Get truly creative on your humiliation to it.
Thank you. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Give it a swirly, little toilet of crap. Okay. Every time you take your morning crap, put its head in there and flush it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Absolutely. Thank you. Wow.
You're ready to get aggressive, but understanding that the humiliation factor is what's going to get it out of your frequency fast. Is it going to piss it off? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why you must be prepared with several other options when it tries to overwhelm you with something. Because when you put its face in a toilet of shit, sorry everyone that's out there, it is going to be pissed. And if you're like, well, the next time you come back, I'm going to spray, make you do leapfrog with a unicorn, and it's going to go right up your butt, the horn. Okay? There's other things you can bring in there that are so creative that all it's going to do is I'm going to find somebody easier to chew on. Because they have egos too. And the right form of humiliation can make it quit being a demon.
Yeah, my mother tried to cast it out of me a long time ago. It just laughed.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. Exactly.
Dude, that was a puzzle for me to figure out. I don't know. This guy apparently on the 21st, he's going to leave because he's going to ascend, and I'm getting the true.
No.
He's going to get pissed off more and more.
He's just setting you up for harvesting your energy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you got to start humiliating.
All right.
Yeah, he's just a harvester.
Okay.
Let me delve a little deeper into here, though.
Please do.
So you've been dealing with this for a while. It is an ancestral issue that requires a deeper form of balancing. Ironically, very similar to the first caller, brewing alcohol is one of the most effective ways to balance negative ancestral energies.
Okay.
Do you drink?
Sometimes, not very often.
What do you drink when you normally drink?
Tequila a lot. Everybody thinks that, yeah, exactly. Everybody looks at me like I'm nuts. I'm sitting there sipping on some tequila. Everybody's like, whatever.
All right. I would like for you to go and find a bar or restaurant that has a variety of selection of bourbons.
Okay. I see. It just so happens that I have some 101 wild turkey in my fridge. It's like 30 years old.
Ooh,
and somebody gave it to me recently.
There you go. Well, I'm not telling you to drink it like a fiend. You're going to use this as a medicinal process. I want you to put some of it into a spray bottle or a perfume bottle, and I want you to spray your shoes with it every day.
Okay.
But I want you to put as many hours of prayer into that bottle that you can.
Okay.
You can do the consciousness strike, the heart meditation. I mean, hours and hours and hours. And the more you put in, the better. Like you're only taking a few ounces out at a time to fill up a spray bottle. And let's say you put a solid month of effective prayer behind that, you'll also be able to use that spray to kick the shit out of the entity or any other entity that comes around just by spraying it all over your body.
Okay.
You are putting the pure essence of your essence into the spirits of the alcohol that is already distilled spirits.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've actually, every time you've talked about going to the swamps and brewing some alcohol and putting that places, like I've heard you say that before on different shows, and I've really been captured by the idea. I just haven't done it yet. My dad makes his own ginger beer. He's been like, "Oh, you got to make some of this," and I'm like, "Well, I haven't done it yet."
Well,
So I guess, I got to brew some stuff, or also wild turkey and spray bottle for now.
time to get up off your lazy spiritual ass and do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Do you have any other questions you want to ask?
Okay. Going forward, what should I be keeping my eye on in order to continue walking the narrow path? That's from my heart. Is that how you describe it? Probably.
I'm going to be blunt here. Probably a 6 or 8 month round of celibacy would be very good for you because you're bleeding a lot of sexual energy off in you right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, it's been frustrating. It's okay.
All right. How long have you been in a relationship?
It's been a long time.
Okay. When's the last time?
I fell and broke my back since the last time, and then it's been years since I really had anything meaningful.
Now, when's the last time you've been intimate?
A year and at least a month. Yeah, that's not that bad in the long grand scheme of things, but whatever.
Right. So when you make it like a 6 month oath of celibacy, and you have to stick with it, it's going to change your sexuality. And because of the broken back and the stuff that's going on with you, the actual personal oath that you must be discerned and courageous to follow through is going to help transform all of the sexual bleed over energy that you got that is internal programs in you that are need this, I need this, I need this, need. You need to shut them up.
Okay.
You don't need that sexual energy now. You need to save your sexual energy. So when that right partner comes, you can actually hear them, see them, and know them as a being.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay? And if you go 5 months and 4 days and Mr. Right or Miss Right shows up, it's okay. It's okay, but don't break it for a one-night stand.
Yeah.
Okay? Make that much higher choice to say do a 6-month celibacy round.
All right. Well, I'll do it.
So what are you doing to recover from your back? What kind of physical therapy they have you doing?
Honestly, they didn't have me do anything. I fell, broke my fibula down by the ankle. The ladder fell on top of me and broke my ribs and punctured my lung. And of course, I had a starburst fracture of the L1 vertebrae. And they put metal in me to keep me from, hurting it more because I already have scoliosis. And then I figured to fix that up. I started working on. I mean, I was in the hospital for a month and a half. I almost killed myself, etc. So when I finally got out of all that, I just ended up taking my healing to a multidimensional level, not only through your stuff, but through eating properly, because I used to be a vegan and I had to actually eat real fucking food. I could not do that for a long period of time. I was so weak when I fell.
Yeah.
So eating for me was really important. Once I started doing that and going multidimensional with everything, it just changed. Like, I don't know how to describe the change in my life, except that it's no longer what it once was. And now I feel so much more alive.
So part of the journey to life is determining how much chronic pain you're in daily and what are you using to medicate with it.
It's not too bad anymore. It's actually really easy now. I mean, I have access to some nice green herbs sometimes. Those are good, but I don't really worry too much anymore. Like, I can now go almost without anything for a time period and not care.
What's
So
the
like
time?
it's
How long?
I don't.
A week?
I mean, the last time I quit cannabis for like any amount of time, it was like 4 days. But when I came back, it was like, oh, you don't need to wait anymore. Like, this is just opening the door that you can use whenever you need it. So like, I don't know. Like, I gave up after so many months of healing. I didn't really need it for the pain anymore. So it's just become another tool.
Do you have any cyclical swelling that comes from the surgery areas?
I mean, I feel the storms. I don't feel too much from my ankle hurts a good bit a lot of times. It's weird how much that one's bad, but I mean, I went dancing and went to see Tash Sultan in concert and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff a couple months or for about the last month. So, I'm managing to keep up with all that and still dance, even though I'm broken.
Okay. You're not broken.
I know. I really.
You're recovering. And that's a parasympathetic word right there. So,
you're right.
So do you have access to anyone that could be a Qigong teacher for you?
No, I need to do something like that. I've been called to do that a lot of times and I haven't done it yet.
Well, this is once again getting up off your couch, your lazy PhD YouTube couch, and go out there and take a class, man. It's going to alter your life a lot.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to suggest is you are going to start having more cyclical pain come back as you reclaim more and more of your life. And the surgery point in that L1, L2 area is going to be a nagging process for you.
Okay.
I would like for you to go and research how you can take cannabis as a topical solution for the area.
Okay, I've been thinking of. I keep looking at the cannabis butter lately, and I keep saying I wish I could rub that on myself. I've been using arnica and comfrey oil, but that's not as much. It's not enough, really.
Arnica is not doing anything. Arnica is only for bruising.
Ah.
All right. It's not going to take care of surgery scars.
Okay.
So you're trying to you need to go to like a cannabis shop. Now, can you brew this yourself? Yes. So.
Okay.
Converting cannabis into anything that's a topical solution is not hard at all. Let's say you get an eighth or a quarter, whatever it is, and you get some coconut oil. In this, let's say if you're using an eighth or a quarter, let's say 6 ounces of coconut oil, 8 ounces of coconut oil. If you're using an ounce of cannabis that's lower quality, then you can go with 1 standard jar of coconut oil because that is a lot of applications.
All right.
Now understand, all you're doing is you're going to use a double boiler, so it's like a steamer on the bottom, and you're going to put the oil and the ground up cannabis. You don't want it to cut it up into powder. You want it into a little bit of chunkage, but still broken up. And you cook it. You cook it at 100 or 220 degrees, or just under 220 degrees for about 45 minutes on that temperature with the little thing in there. And You let it cool, and you strain it and let it cool, and that's how easy it is to recreate any form of topical. Now, if you want that topical to have longer lasting effects and stay on the skin longer and absorb different, you'll have to add aloe into it, lanolin, and you have to learn the chemistry of making other stuff. Now, what you can do is make a big volume of it. Let's say you get the brown frown weed that's out there that's really cheap, like $20, $40 an ounce or something like that, and get a whole bunch of it and make a whole bunch of, like a big tub of it, so that you can grab a handful and throw it in the bathtub and let it fill up with as hot water as you can, and put some Epsom salt in there. And what the cannabis oil will do is float at the top. It'll stay at the top of the Epsom salt water so that your skin can continuously absorb it. And because the Epsom salt keeps it floating, you can empty out cold water from the bottom and keep adding hot water into it. So you can go for a 3 or 4 hour bath and you come out shriveled like a raisin, but that means you've absorbed all of that cannabis oil into yourself.
Okay.
And if you get the
salts, last time I did Epsom salts, I had not that great of a reaction just because I think the salt was too much or something. Should I do that now, or do you say that just with my energy field now, I can just wait?
How much salt did you have in there?
Oh, I don't remember. Probably more than I should.
Okay, like a 10-pound bag?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember. It was like it had lavender in it. I don't remember it was months ago.
You were having the reaction to something else that was in that.
Okay.
So a standard 1-pound bag of salt should be enough for your bath.
Okay.
I like to add more. Sometimes I have 8, 9, 10, or 12 pounds in there.
Oh, wow. All right.
Why? Because I'm intending to detox, to pull stuff out of my body, because I'm letting myself shrivel up like the raisin, and then I'll add the cannabis oil in. Why? Because it goes direct to the skin.
Okay.
And it's a great rejuvenation for the skin process. Okay. And if you're able to find cannabis that's high CBD, well, you're going to start taking that internally now.
Okay.
Now, one more thing I was telling you before, you're going to be experiencing an upcoming issue. The more you want to reclaim your life, your lower back's going to be have a pain issue that comes back regularly.
Yeah.
The most effective pain relief for you, and this goes for anybody that's in a back injury, extreme nerve ending damage industry, cerebral palsy, is cannabis suppositories.
Oh, all right. Fine. All right, I'll consider that. I mean, I'll write it down.
It bypasses the blood, and it'll give you days of pain relief. And I mean days.
You're not the only person recently to either jokingly or seriously refer to suppositories for things that I have. Thank you.
Yeah. So smoking it, as fun as it can be, if you're really serious about your pain management, cannabis suppositories. Now, you can buy them and you can make them your own. They're really not hard to make on your own. It's just convincing yourself when you insert your own creation that
you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. So just play Bob Marley. It's gonna be all right.
I'll have to then. Thank you.
Exactly.
Oh. I'm gonna have to play some Tash Sultan in the background and be like, all right, here it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Here it goes.
I'll be crying to myself in the corner of the bathtub. It'll be good. Okay.
And then you're gonna experience the pain relief and like, oh, wow.
Oh my god, this is
amazing. Oh my god.
Well,
yeah.
See here, I don't know. I have these soma mushrooms I could do that with too. Everybody keeps telling me to do, but I haven't tried that yet. No.
Do not do mushrooms rectally. You're not ready for that.
Okay.
Nor anyone else out there. I know a few people that did mushroom tea rectally as part of a colonic thing, and I'm like, that's crazy.
That's a ridiculous idea, but okay.
Yes. That's crazy. There are some consciousness explorers out there.
Hey, I am one of them. I wish sometimes that I would have taken a little more time getting to where I am now, but I mean, the life change is great when you finally get down to it.
Exactly. When you allow.
It's really weird because everything you basically told me to do, like I said, I've already looked into or I've thought about. Plus, the change in me has been so much that I can't even keep track of it all. Like I can, because I've written down like 64 life lessons I've learned in the past little while, and a lot of them have done with everything you've already talked to me about. Not to mention everything fucking else I've ever had an hang up with or an issue with. It's all come to the forefront in the past like ridiculously short amount of time since I started writing and doing heart meditations, like since earlier this year. So then, since I took all this to that level, it's just gone ridiculous, like overdrive. Like I got so much to do, but I'm not exactly doing it at the moment, but I'm doing most of it. I mean, it's awesome. I couldn't, if anybody's on the fence and doesn't want to do the heart meditations for any length of time, like seriously, get off the fence, just do it. It's great.
Yeah, just get off the fence.
Right.
Exactly.
Especially me, because I put the suppositories on the fence, and if you jump on, you might get dosed.
There you go. Exactly.
Can't help myself, pardon me.
Yeah. All righty, brother. I got to let you go and go on to my break right now. Great talking.
All right. Oh, thank you so much. I really needed this conversation. I appreciate this.
You're welcome. All right, Robert, let's go on our break right now, and we shall come back and take some more callers.
Okay, break will be 10 minutes. We'll see you when you come back.
What diet do you recommend in order to maintain this light body, light frequency? I occasionally consume meat due to my blood type O, and of course also due to the natural composition of the human body designing mostly protein. Find myself at times fighting against the molecular structure of my physiology where I can go to a certain length of time without animal protein. Please advise. So last webcast I had an answer about veganism and vegetarianism and an understanding that it's a balancing of protein no matter what it is that you're using. You always must be able to balance all forms of protein within yourself and all the different aspects of you that are here in the moment. You're asking, what is the best source? It's how much protein you're going to give yourself. Now, in most cases, you need a minimum of 40 grams of protein so that the body's metabolism is out of survival mode. And this is for both men and women. Now, there are many people that are diet uncertain, and this is really where you're at. You're not certain if you should go all organic vegan, something in between, still have meat and fish, so on and so forth, versus saying, all right, I can pray over my food and change it, and it's just as good because it's my belief. So in your food uncertainty, you are having programs that are creating tugs of war. Meat, no meat, this, that. My advice to you is eat what you want, but make sure you are maintaining 40 grams of protein. Best advice is a smoothie in the morning that has the 40 grams of protein, or 20 in the morning and 20 in the afternoon, and figure out how well you can eat. Because once you get the body out of survival mode, meaning it has guaranteed protein every day for more than 30 days, all of the survival programs of the adrenal gland shut down, you get adrenal gland control back, you're out of fight or flight and most of the hard choices because your stomach is running it because you have no real protein. There is where you can say, well, let me look at vegetarianism. Do I cook well at it? How long is it going to take me to learn to make recipes that are incredible? There are alchemical cooks out there that can make something that looks like Oreo cookies, exactly like an Oreo cookie, except it's made out of all natural, vegan, vegetarian products. Could you eat that? Could you make that? Can you become your food alchemist? If so, begin to make the transition, but allow yourself to have the unlimited point of view, that you are going to want to have some forms of protein that isn't a smoothie, that isn't liquid, and you have to determine what's in your belief system. Is a fish any more alive and sentient than the vegetables that you're eating? When in actuality, the fish is already dead, and that vegetable you're eating its consciousness. Yes, I'm getting the boos, the hisses, and the ha's. Well, that's your Zelisman point of view. Reality is they're both alive and dead, both here as service to us. They wouldn't be here if they didn't. We are also service to them. That plant that you're eating is sharing your experience in life. And when it decides to reincarnate as a human or incarnate as a human or something else, it is taking our experience of our joy or not joy of eating us as part of their light view of how to apply. Well, maybe I just need an experience of service, so I'm going to be a carrot, 25 carrots in a row, or another one that wants to be a chicken. To understand what that is, cannot judge others. So the best form of maintaining the body is finding the 40 grams of protein every day so the body goes out of survival mode, so the adrenal glands aren't running you, so the medulla oblongata rests and the rest of the consciousness of the brain can engage the sacred at the mystical level. So we got a caller?
Yes, our next caller. Oh, I am unmuted. Ha ha ha. Welcome back, everyone. Excuse me a second, I was on my break and I had to clear my mouth real quick. All right, everyone. We are now going to take another collar, Robert. Jump into that wheel of collars, spin it good, spin it hard, and let's see what the universe provides. Robert.
Sometimes push to mute does not work. Gabrielle Wolf, I just unmuted you. You should be on.
Gabrielle, are you there? Hello? I hear you. Can you hear me? Going once. Going twice. And Gabrielle. And let's move on to the next color.
Can't pronounce the first name.
So I don't know how I can respond to that. We've got some people in their background that's got to unmute themselves.
Yeah, and every time I go to push to unmute, it puts a bunch of spaces into the participant list, and we don't find anybody.
Well, damn that Zoom feature.
Okay, Matthew Waller, you are on with Andrew.
Matthew, are you there?
I'm there, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Where are you calling from today?
From England.
Great. How did you find out about me?
Okay, we've talked before, Andrew. Do you remember Andrea when she was staying in England? We talked briefly before. Do you remember?
Okay. No.
No. Okay.
I talk to about 3,000 people a year.
I'm sure you do, brother. I'm sure you do.
Yeah. So what did you want to talk about today?
Okay, well, I have a question about my own process relating to your own teachings, actually.
Okay.
Something that's just been confusing me. So I use the heart meditation regularly along with the Sanctuary for All Souls.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from them.
Okay.
You're going to have to turn off your speakers or something. Turn that down.
Okay. How about now?
No, let's see. It's still a little bit there. You'll turn them down a little bit more.
Okay, 1 minute. How about now? Is that any better, Andrew?
I'm not sure if somebody else has an open mic. Robert, is there somebody else with an open mic?
I do not see anyone at the moment.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna. Are you on a cell phone or a computer?
I am. Yes, I'm on a handheld. It's quite late here. The kids are asleep in bed.
All right. Are you on speaker? Or are you?
Yes, I'm on the speaker, the earphones with the microphone.
All right. You're gonna have to take those off. There's something's wrong with them.
Now.
Oh yeah. There we go. No echo now. Now there's even more echo.
Yeah, that's the.
All right. So let's just try to go through it. All right. So go ahead with your question.
Okay.
Meditation.
Okay. So basically, I've been using that, and there's been some strange things happening. I use a process where I go into the bath and I do an energetic process before that. And when I get into the water, I get lots of visuals. And I had the most confusing experience where I gave birth in the bath. And I felt everything. And the more I go through, the more process I go through, the more it seems like I'm going through the spiritual process that a female would go through. Mm-hmm. And I have no sort of gender issues or anything like that. But it's something that keeps coming up, Andrew. And I really would appreciate your perspective on this.
How long has it been coming up?
Since I've been doing the heart meditation regularly, and since I've been having my own ceremonial process, doing it properly with real spiritual hygiene.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many months? How many years? How long?
Oh gosh, only this year really have I really been taking it seriously.
So 5 months.
That's with the ceremonial process. Yes.
So 5 months, 6 months at most here.
Yeah. Pushing maybe, yeah, about 6 months serious. Yeah.
Right. So you are reaching the point where the highest amount of light is coming with the solstice that's coming up. And there are parts of you that don't want that light. And the whole birthing experience you're going through is an actual external entity influencing you, taking you off from your male birthright process.
Ah, okay, interesting.
It is actually what we would call something cousin to a succubus.
Okay.
Now, there are plenty of negative beings out there who know how to make a human to produce cool light for a while so they can harvest it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not to say that other men don't have visions about having birth to children, so on and so forth. It is because of the vividness of you that reveals it's an entity to me.
Okay.
Okay. There are certain entities who like to plate their Michelangelo piece, you know, that has all the glitter that humans get absorbed in. But when the external observer goes, this is all glitter and glamour. And it's a glitter and glamour spell upon you right now in your meditation state that is trying to get into the core frequencies of your heart, to harvest more of your heart energy so you can't use it on yourself, to be the fetus in the womb, not the person being giving birth.
Yes.
You have to maintain the will and drive and courage to have the vision be the fetus.
Yes.
The mother is the medium in the vehicle that the father was a part of to make an ancestral bonded lineage.
Yes. Okay. Well, see, that just gives me many more questions, Andrew, because when these kind of experiences arise, they come with experiences that just feel extremely genuine.
Yes, absolutely.
Like being the fetus in the womb. It's a process that I use on a daily basis. It's one of the greatest teachings that you've given us. Is the fetus in the womb process. So how is it possible for some kind of entity to come into that process when we have such belief behind our systems?
Because they have been doing this for a very long time.
Okay.
And they have figured out the weaknesses in the fetus in the womb process. It's called the Great Forgetting. And when we start now going by heart with just the great remembering now, we get to begin to remember some of the ways that they've done this to us before.
Okay.
Posers, pretenders are ancient of ancients.
Right.
Okay? Now, understanding the fetus in the womb as the teaching and then its application, what is the big changes it's given you as the application of
it? Synchronicity has sped up hugely, and it's given me, it's just like fast tracking where I tried to create something in my life before where it would be sluggish and I would struggle with my prayers in it to the fetus in the womb, connecting with that. It just seems to speed everything up and give it much more pace, much more energy, much more power.
Okay. And what is it that it's doing for your spiritual evolution? Are you having more personal experiences with it?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Yes. Just everything. But it's hard to tell whether it's the combination, whether it's just that process or it's the combination of all the other teachings as well.
It's the combination of all the other teachings, but you have a series of foundational bases, and the fetus in the womb is the one that allows you to have a broad perspective.
Okay.
Or be able to reach what we call the unlimited point of view. The fetus in the womb maintains the unlimited point of view.
Yes.
And the journey to know the fetus is to know the unlimited point of view as the direct manifestation of your life walk, knowing that the fetus may have planned a bunch of stuff up, but it's our free will to fuck it up.
Yes.
And it's our free will to co-create with it instead of fucking it up. So that whatever they planned has our living genius a part of it.
Yes.
Okay. What is it going to take for you to get your living genius connected to the fetus on your life path, purpose, goal, mission, money, abundance flow?
Well, I can tell you this, Andrew. Actually, just knowing, I've had to eat some humble pie actually in this conversation, Andrew, because I was really. Everything was driving me towards you, asking you that question. What the hell is going on with this gender issue, with this birthing and all of this process where I feel like I'm spiritually female, but physically masculine. And it's been so confusing, whereas all of the other stuff I mean, just knowing that alone, you know, it means it's going to have to add. I'm going to have to add a whole new level to my spiritual hygiene, and
Right.
yeah,
One that understands ancestral karmic balance. Now, a succubus is something that has a lot more free will than the cousins of the succubus. Now, there are times when things pass over and they get stuck in a life review moment and it becomes a soul shard. And that is technically the type of entity that is affecting you. Now, it's a family member in the lineage.
I know who. I think I know who it is. Yeah.
It needs a healing just as much as you do.
Okay.
It isn't trying to truly suck you dry like the big harvesting entities, but it is manipulating you, and it does know it because it doesn't want to give up on living. That's why it's constantly in this birthing and putting in you and harvesting your feelings, because you are learning from that birthing thing, but it is it's a forced evolution.
So how can a being like that go? Because I'll just be completely blunt, Andrew, because this probably does explain. I probably answered my own question here. You see, I have a process where I use positive masturbation, and I don't use any mental imagery or anything like this. But I use positive masturbation and then step into the water after I've prayed, cleaned the water, programmed the water, step into the water. And this really, I've had some very incredible experiences using this process. How could such a being hijack that process, Andrew?
Because you become lazy after a while of doing it, and you don't realize something is watching you over 10, 20, 30, 50 masturbation processes, and it's writing it down.
Yes.
That's how.
And also, I suppose it depends on also what's happened leading up to it, whether I'm feeling serious, whether I'm doing it as, you know, just a recreational process, or whether it really does have my belief behind it.
Right.
Indeed. Yes. Thank you, Andrew. Fantastic. Well, that wasn't. Amazing.
That's why we must remain bold and vigilant when our own pleasuring process that has to come to us.
Yes.
Okay? Bold and vigilant, and understand sometimes the vigilant and the bold are the limitations. And you got to know when to let down and have fun and not worry about all the other shit, because your belief is strong enough. Unfortunately, when we're stuck in that choice mode like this, they're watching.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for their watching moment?
Well, I have a ceremony that I do. I use like a piece of Himalayan salt that's filled with salt crystals with isopropyl alcohol, and I have a morning and night fire ceremony that I do, and using lots of your teachings and lots of linguistics that you've given us. And part of my process is actually to put up a shield around the property, around myself, and then to lay out a set of rules where I say no one can view, observe us, entangle with us, and so forth. And so I really did believe that was empowered and it was working, it was functioning.
Sure. It was an outer shell, but you were creating the portal through the masturbation process, which allowed it in.
And that's lineage, so that would be ancestry.
Correct. Now, I was asking you, how do you stop it? You were saying how to stop the external entities, not these ancestral energies, and you creating a portal.
Okay.
You have to have something that's prepared when you're in that, am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? That you have prepared an actual physical ceremonial process that is sending a healing to that person in this mode, to go through them in this mode, to look at what's watching them, and to spread contract revocation, invocation, dispelling, prayer words, whole volumes of things so you can finish this.
Yes.
Okay, and there's a variety of other strategic things you can do, because sometimes it's 2, 3, or 4 watchers, and it's not just this one, it's this one, it's this one, it's that one, and you got to be laser specific on the themes. Predatory spirits looking for easy harvesting. You are going to get the fist that comes out you and punches you in the third eye. Manipulating entities that are harvesting others' energies so that they can harvest mine through others. I see you, and I create a pulse wave of energy that cuts your manipulation cords to all those that are around me.
Yeah, badass.
Okay? Right. There's some more guerrilla warfare things that you can use, such as you're using the shaman's fire, which is the pink Himalayan salt with the rubbing alcohol. Well, that's really special. You can be aggressive at a moment. Let's say you're in that hesitation process and you know something's watching. And you know.
Yeah.
You stop, you reach out, grab it, and throw it into the ceremonial fire.
Right.
And
So
laugh at it.
Can these kind of entities be present while I'm there making my fire, making my prayers?
Yes. Yes.
And where do they exist, Andrew?
Other dimensions, time streams, galaxies, universes, other layers of our reality. Have you heard me call it the uni-world that's layered over all forms of thought and perception?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
There's a many-layered uni-world out there that is layered over our bubble of reality here.
Okay.
And we happen to be, in some perspectives, television shows to them.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And there are others who they like to choose your own adventure and manipulate the human.
Yes. Yes. It's been, I feel like I've been dragging my heels, Andrew. So alcohol's been an issue for me my whole life. And I really do feel that I can't really step into my complete power until I have, completely and utterly walked away from that particular relationship. It seems to be a gateway to, repression, depression, so forth. And even just a small subtle amount of that then allows a certain amount. I can't even speak to my galactic friends and so forth without constantly thinking, who am I speaking to? Right.
I get it.
And I just need that belief behind me. Well, I'm really shocked and surprised actually to hear that. I used the Union and Communion Consciousness Strike. It had such a powerful effect on me that I kind of use it almost as a declaration. I say, I have read this declaration. This is something that I am on full universal consciousness strike. And it seems to be so powerful. And is it, what my question is, Andrew, how do we let down and allow these kind of entities when we have such powerful toolboxes, such an eclectic form of range?
Because you live in the moment of now.
Yes.
And free will means you must use free will at all times and learn how to operate as a signature frequency being where you don't let the sympathetic and the parasympathetic take over a single second of your day.
Yes.
That is the great remembering, and that is the great awakening.
Well, this is something that I've been just experiencing over the past maybe 2 weeks. It really is the unlimited point of view, the sacred neutral perspective. And it's easy to talk about this, but when you've got kids fucking screaming constantly around you, there are times when, it becomes very difficult to hold that space.
That's right. And this is where you have to have different coping skills, because the consciousness strike is much about an emanation, because it's so long and written in such a way. It's not about, it's the end all be all, takes care of every entity from A to Z. It's not meant to do that. It's not meant to do that. It is an educating piece that you are broadcasting specifically to the system of domination and control that is manipulating you, because it's using tacit consent in every dimension, time, galaxy, and universe to do what? Fuck you.
Yes. Yes.
Why? Because it wants your energy.
Yes.
Past, present, and future. You're multidimensionally saying, no, we're on strike, a collective of beings you must recognize as a collective. That does not really do much to your physical life unless your belief engine has been engaged in such a way that your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and bi-decade practice of revelations of who I was in the past, who I am today, so that I may inspire my future. That is that living the mystical life daily process that allows the mystical to flow seamlessly through you and out of you. Because there are things that you have contracted from the system that you must experience. And if the conscious strike was poof, all encompassing, what would happen?
Nothing, of course. So it would be forced evolution. You wouldn't get to serve your contracts. Yeah.
You wouldn't get them resolved in such a way that it twists the universal rules back into your favor.
Yeah, you'd be asking for more contracts. You'd be asking to go back into it. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. So, let me think.
You have a strategic plan. You just have to get more multidimensional with your execution. See it this way: you are the excellence of execution with your own flawed perfection.
Yes. Beautiful.
And don't take any of this conversation as a knock on you. You didn't know entities that were out there. And there's probably only a handful of specialist entity removers out there that know what those things are, and that they're not necessarily bad, but they are manipulative. Okay.
Yes.
It's like a blue collar crime person versus a person that's murdered 5 people. Who would you rather be in jail with?
Yeah,
the
of course.
blue collar crime. Exactly.
I've been in jail with the murderers, Andrew. Yeah, I know what that feels like.
Right.
So yeah. I've lost my train of thought. Completely lost my train of thought. Am I right in thinking that these kind of entities, it's not just that particular process, that they could be observing many other processes, looking for cracks in?
Every process. They're like a bank job crew that's looking for every angle in.
Yeah. Okay. And so
they're Ocean's 11ing you.
Got you. And so what is because you see the situation that I'm dealing with, Andrew, is I'm kind of almost like I'm doing it for the whole family, if that makes sense. I'm kind of holding
you can't do it for the whole family. That's martyrdom.
Okay.
That's martyrdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anybody else doesn't, if anyone else doesn't want to hold up their space in awareness or unawareness or woefully choosing not to, that's their choice. You cannot take on their burden at all. Or you will do what? Stop your own journey. Yes.
You see, my wife, she does have her own ceremonial process that she's coming into, but we have children as well, 4 daughters. And it's, you know, I feel like sometimes like I'm trying to manage all of that as well. So I try to clean through that. I don't know whether that's an infringement on their free will, step them on their journeys at all. But I feel as a parent, I have the right to help protect my children.
And you do until they reach the puberty level where their innocence starts to go away and the rest of their I am has to start making choices.
Like my eldest daughter. Okay.
Yes. Okay. This is why you got to start teaching them about faith and understanding and confidence in themselves early in their life.
Yes.
So that when it comes time to take that over, they understand what a choice really means.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so, what's the single most powerful thing then, Andrew, that I can do or change in my process to assist me with these particular type of entities?
Similar to the other callers, it's going to come down to alcohol. So both of them were not drinkers. You're having an issue with drinkers.
Yes.
You could brew your own alcohol for the sole purpose of magical protection.
Yes, I like the idea of that. Yeah. Yeah. I did this. I did the ancestral soup, and that was really effective for a short while. It was very, very powerful.
Okay, and now you could even add the alcohol to the ancestral soup and burn the alcohol on top of the soup, and whole different levels coming together. But wonderful. Are you going to brew something that's going to have? I know you will brew something with 15 hours of prayer in it.
Yeah, I will do that.
And it will do what it needs to do.
Yes.
Okay, because you're changing relationship. I don't need to consume it. I need to use it.
Yes, it's a wonderful transmutation, actually, of energy as well. Yeah.
And then you can start brewing, instead of using rubbing alcohol, brew your own alcohol for your own fire.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you much.
You're welcome, brother. All right, I got to let you go. I got to end the show today. Thanks for calling in.
Take care, Andrew. Thank you very much, brother.
All right, everybody, it's been a special, fun show. We will be back next Saturday, same time, same place. Adventures into reality. All right, Robert, take us away.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
DNA farming of this star cluster so important.
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.